Previously.
1, 2, 3.
X-Rated, the X-Men animated review show.
I told you to stay away.
That's never gonna happen.
I know you can't stay away, X-Goons. Welcome to X-Rated, the X-Men animated review show. X-Men Dark Phoenix from 2019. Ugh, I can't even say it. This movie was so exhausting. X-Men Dark Phoenix from 2019 review. I am one of your hosts.
And you couldn't even do that?
Nope. Couldn't even do that. But
Couldn't do it.
we're back for another kick at the can.
Not gonna do it. He's not gonna do it.
I am your host, Davin.
Even.
Davin Darkholm. We'll go with that. Everyone calls me Davin
Jesus.
anyway. I might as well just get a new name.
I thought mine was lazy this week. Apparently,
Yours is lazy.
Yeah.
All right.
Man,
Well,
like almost every name that you could do it to, there's no real new characters in this one. We've kind of done it already, so
yeah.
it was tough.
Well, that's the voice of my co-host.
Let me show you how.
Well, show me how to host then, Andre.
This might be
You just
one of the
take
first times in the history of the show you ever did a semi-positive introduction quote for me. I'll
gotta mix it up.
I'll take it.
It's all
right,
downhill
you
from
should.
here. It's fine.
That's right. It's the most I can ever hope for.
And that was the voice of our guest.
You shouldn't have come here.
That's right.
He's brave. He's a brave man. 2 Phoenix movies. That was Ryan Jablonski.
Jabo Jablonski.
Yep.
Is Jabo a name, like a some kind of a pseudonym that we can call him? I like Jabo.
Isn't that what you go by?
Yeah, it is. But,
Yeah,
Really?
He goes by Jabo.
Oh, I like
See?
Jabo. Jabo.
Yeah.
I like
I'm
it.
just making this stuff up. I'm a
Oh.
professional.
Well, okay. If you say so.
X-Men 97.
Yeah, I see that.
All right. Yeah. My shirt fresh from Jameel. Love it.
That's really
That's
nice. Yeah, it's a super nice.
So here we are. Dark Phoenix.
Look, I'm just gonna say.
Yeah, go for it.
I saw this movie in the theater when it came out, and I remember thinking it wasn't that bad. Not as bad as everyone else treated it like it was. And I still don't think it's that bad. I'm not saying it's good, but it's not abysmal. It's certainly better than some other X-Men movies that are out there. I would say.
don't know if it is.
This
This is the first time I have ever seen it.
This is worse than Wolverine Origins to you.
I told you, Wolverine Origins is cool for like almost an hour. This movie is
No.
never
You
cool.
said it was cool for like 20 minutes.
Well, still, that's more than this it ever achieved.
No, this movie's pretty cool. Right
Arcade,
up
I gave you a chance to get out, buddy. I have the most annoying cat ever.
Wow, he's very
Um,
loud. This movie is
yeah.
pretty cool right up to, in my opinion, up until like I don't know. Well, let's get into it. I guess we can talk.
Well,
about
no. Look, we got a couple segments to get out of the way here first.
Jesus, okay.
Uh,
Well, let's catch up on old times.
It's just cat screaming in the background. Get my favorite part of the portion is Davin fighting cats. That's my favorite portion of the show.
I like
Davin
it.
versus cat segment. I'm in.
yeah, well, we could do a lot of those segments. What do you think they doing up there, Ryan? What are they doing down there in Buffalo, New York, New fucking New York? Is that what you say,
New
right?
York. That's pretty close.
yeah.
Especially in Buffalo. You know, we're just Canada South. It's
Yeah.
fine.
You were at a con, schmoozing with the X-Men, having dinner with the X-Men. Tell us.
I was.
Tell
It
us.
was a few weeks ago at the Nickel City Con. And my buddies in Unknown Comics came up, and they brought Larry Houston and Cal Dodd with them. And then part of the guests, actually, like Lenora was there, and Adrian was there, and George was there, and Allison was there, Catherine was there. It was amazing. It was like a Chris Brayton, like it was a huge, like it was like 8 X-Men animated voice actors there. But since I was working the booth at the Unknown booth, like I literally worked with Larry Houston and Cal Dodd the entire weekend. Like we just hung out and just bullshitted. for like 3 days. I went to dinner and stuff like that. It was really cool. It was Cal's wife made us muffins and deviled eggs. So
That's interesting.
So-
Here, have some muffins and deviled eggs.
yeah.
Right on.
Mrs. Wolverine made us food, so that was delicious.
Very
And then so it was cool. It was very cool. It was very nice to see everybody. It was nice to see Lenore again. It's my first time at meeting Allison Seeley Smith, and she was just a sweetheart. Absolutely.
Other than on
everything.
our show.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you're right, exactly. Which is funny because she's like, "Wait, I think I know you." I'm like, "You do, but you don't." And so I told her we joked. She did say hello, by the way, to both of you guys. She's like, "I really like those guys. They were so nice."
Oh, she's my queen. She's great.
Yeah. It was, so that was really cool. And then
That's awesome.
Now we're going into San Diego week, so there's shit happening left and right. Not for me because we're here. We are on the East Coast, but and then we're two days away from Deadpool Wolverine.
Say what you want about the East Coast, it's not on fire.
Yeah, it's true.
West Coast is always on fire. There's like spring, winter, fall, and fire season. Stay safe out there.
Mark Maron
My
used to
former-
had a joke about that. He said something like, is it the wildfires? He go, what when is it? They're like, aren't they late? Aren't they a bit late this year? Like it's actually a season they expected. Someone's like, isn't it wildfire season? Like, no, they're a bit late this year. Like it's just you would expect it, like anything else. It's
Did
really
you
funny.
happen to tell Cal and Larry that there's an empty spot in my heart for them?
So what's funny is that I actually did have when I one of the conversations I had with Larry and his wife, I did bring the show up. He's like, you'll have to let me know again. So I figured after I want to make it through con season because like these guys are just
They're busy.
If you're following their schedule at all, it's like
Oh,
these
yeah.
voice actors have never had to do this kind of traveling. I mean, they are just going from city to city to city to city.
Cal and Lenore especially are like nonstop.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just they never end, which is great. I mean, they love it. And I'll tell you this, and I don't want to preempt the show that much. Cal is one of the coolest celebrities I've ever met. So we were just talking, and just talking about him being a celebrity and him, signing for people and things like that. This guy would not take lunch breaks if he had a line. He might sneak away for a minute or two and grab like a granola bar or something, and he'd run back. He at no point pushed anybody out of his line quickly. There's some people I saw him talking to for 15, 20 minutes, even if he had a line that was, 30 people deep. And it was awesome. I mean, he was interacting with him with little kids. It was amazing.
He always has his claws.
Yeah. He always has his claws. I mean, he was just he was really cool. He would, obviously they'll sign, take pictures, whatever else. But I mean, he would just, it was just nice to see a celebrity who seemed to genuinely actually give a shit about the people that were coming to see him.
That cast in general, they're pretty great.
Mm-hmm. I agree. Yeah, every one of them was, especially looking at the other celebrities that they were by, who you could tell didn't give a crap, right? They didn't want to be there. They were just head down, signing autographs, move along. And here's the X-Men fans jumping up and, screaming and, talking in their voices constantly. Like how many times I heard "Hey Bub" throughout the weekend, and every single time I was just like, yeah.
Yeah, really. That never gets old.
Never.
That's awesome, man. That sounds like a great time.
Yeah, it sounds like a blast.
Yeah. And thanks for putting in a word with Larry. I love him dearly.
Yeah. I'll hit him back again too, because what I'd like to try to do, and I didn't have any, there was none on this side, is that my buddy has some connections with some of the new cast too. So I know obviously we got Holly, but I'd love to get Matthew or AJ or something like that.
I would love to talk to Matthew.
Dude, he's amazing.
Yeah. Yeah.
We'll work on it.
Have we been in contact? I may have been in contact with Matthew. I might have to talk to see about that one. Well, that was all very positive. So now it's time to get very negative here for a minute. What am I? I need a madness.
You must believe me. I'm not going mad.
All right, I'm going to go on a bit of a rant. So, I'm not picking a fight, Andre, but you've assured me many times that I will never get a short Wolverine because it can't be done. It can't be done in Hollywood. I'm never going to get it, and I should just give up my dream. Correct? Well, how come?
At what point did we agree that you could ambush me in some kind of a segment you never told me about? Is this?
This is X-Ranted. We do this all the time.
Do we? Okay.
Yeah, and I'm not going to say this isn't about you. This is about hope.
You literally are accusing me right now of something. So what is it?
Well, no, you said that, right? Correct. You said like I should just give up. I'm not going to get my short Wolverine. Well, how come we can have 5'4" Cyclops in 4'8" Storm? Like, we can't have a 5'3" Wolverine, but in this movie we got like tiny Cyclops and tiny Storm, two characters that are actually supposed to be very tall. We can make them super short, but we can't have a short Wolverine.
Do you want Ty Sheridan to be Wolverine?
Sure, why not?
Okay,
He's 5'3" by the looks of this picture.
Perfect.
Like,
then I'm sure. If that's all that matters for that role, then great, he's hired. I'm sure. I'm sure you.
No, but you catch my point, right? Like, why can't they do a short Wolverine if they can do a short Cyclops and short Storm? Maybe height doesn't really matter that much as far as like everyone having to be tall.
Are those their actual heights?
Well, I don't know what their actual height is, but Ty Sheridan in this movie was like dwarfed by everybody. No, but like even standing next
about his height?
Even standing next.
I don't know how tall he actually is.
Well, because he was standing next to Jean Grey, and he's like a head taller than her. Even like he's short, man. Like that's all it needs to be. Wolverine should just be standing next to other people and seem a lot shorter, and that's what Ty Sheridan did in this movie. And Storm too. Look at her; she's tiny. They're supposed to both be over 6 feet tall.
They're also supposed to be children or like late teenagers.
Exactly, the point where you're not getting any taller.
Okay. For
the most part, like
I don't know.
That's all I said. My rant is there's hope. There's hope. We can get a short Wolverine if we can get short Storm and Cyclops. Like Cyclops feels like nothing like Cyclops in this movie, but just because he's short, but it didn't help. He wasn't very commanding or very leadery. I don't know. Anyway, we're gonna get into this movie, but that's my rant. Hold on, hope for short Wolverine.
Go ahead.
We can get short Cyclops, short Storm.
I hope you're right, but I just don't think it's going to be something that that they care that much about.
Wait for it.
Okay, Devin. I will happily. I just said that you're so wrapped up in these arbitrary things you like about certain characters that you're going to be very disappointed a lot. And I'd like to see you
mostly just that one.
Just the fact, the fact he has to be short is
it's part of his character, a big part.
I don't think it's an important one when it comes to film, but that's fine.
Characterization, maybe not film, but characterization. But anyway, if you want that different take, if you don't want handsome Jackman Wolverine, because do you really want to be that again? Like, do you really want to replace Jackman with like another Jackman type and expect people to like embrace it? Really, like you sort of have to go different.
You're forgetting one integral part of this. I am not the casting director for any DC comic, Marvel Comics property.
No, but you see that point too, right?
I'm just saying you need to be realistic with what they're going to do.
That's what I'm doing here.
No, you're building yourself up to be more disappointed because now you're giving yourself more of a reason to expect it to be this way. We can
get what we need. We can get the great X-Men choices. Look at this. We got this.
That's
we got X-Men 97.
Who's we? Is there a community of Wolverine must be tall or short people that you're a part of?
Definitely.
Let's see it. Let me see your Reddit form. I want to see you and the 12 other people that probably agree with you online. You and the 15 to 20 other people that probably agree with you online that are going to be on. No, I'm sure there's hundreds of people that agree with you, but I wouldn't say it's thousands.
Thousands and millions.
I wouldn't say it's thousands.
Hey, Jabo, where do you stand on short Wolverine v tall Wolverine?
If there's an actor that would embody the role perfectly, that is 6 feet tall, he's such a great actor, he's going to knock it out of the park. You'd say, don't cast him as he's 6 feet tall.
Yes, yeah.
That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying there's
no. That's what you're saying. You're saying it's drastically important to the character that he be short.
Yes.
So then they couldn't hire that guy. They'd have to get an actor who would be less.
But you're creating a scenario where there isn't an equally good actor who's short, and I don't think that's true.
I'm not saying that isn't true. I'm saying there's one person in the world in this scenario that's going to be the best Wolverine. as far as everything else but his height. You would not cast him because you need.
I
him
don't
to
think
be
you
a-
could ever quantify a human like that, so I don't know that I buy your
Okay.
scenario.
I'm just trying to illustrate my point here.
Jabo.
I hope you're right. I hope they do get a shorter guy to play Wolverine that fits the role you want. But I think you have your perfect Wolverine. It's Cal Dodd in the X-Men cartoon.
Yeah, I agree.
But to make a live action movie, it's not going to work. So
Yeah, we'll see.
anyway, sorry.
Jabo.
go ahead.
No, you're good. I would love to see a shorter Wolverine, but
Yeah, me too.
I love Jackman, especially with what he has to deal with. I mean, like look at some of his movies that he was in, and like he was the bright spot of some pretty shitty flicks.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like
and-
anything, a lot of actors that could probably play and do a really good job at it.
Yeah, I agree. So it's like I don't want to say I'm probably in the middle. Like it's not to me, it's not a deal breaker. Like I would love to see a shorter one because I think there are some good shorter actors out there. But like if they're not interested in it, or if I don't think they're gonna be good enough, like honestly
Yeah.
at this point, I'd almost rather like specifically with like Deadpool, Wolverine, everything like that. Like maybe let Wolverine sit for a little while.
Yeah, we'll see what
Yeah.
they.
I don't
bring
think
out-
he should be in the first X-Men movie. Like, I
think-
think you introduce the X-Men and then bring Wolverine in later.
Yeah, I agree with you, but I think we all forget that these studios are interested in making money
Yeah, absolutely.
more than they are about making a better story.
Well, look, I'm not that cynical. I don't think. I think there's people who
Davin,
want
every major film studio cares more about making money.
yes,
than making-
the
than making a
studio,
story.
but
Yes.
the
Yes.
movies are
They're the
made by
ones-
people.
No, people are paid by the studio, and the studio watches everything they do to make sure they're doing what they want them to do.
So you
That's why
think
these
nobody's
movies-
put any of their creative choice into this that they wanted? in any of
100%,
these
but
movies?
those creative choices aligned with what the studio wanted to make money. That's
or
what
they
happened.
didn't, or they were hands off on more things than you think. Like once you have a track record, I think they pretty much leave Kevin Feige alone.
There's a reason why the X-Men movies generally get progressively worse. It's because they make more money and the studio gets more involved.
Oh, I have a lot of reasons. Well, one, they let Simon Kinberg write and direct an X-Men movie, so there's your
Oh,
first
God,
mistake.
yeah.
Like, it's people. That's what I'm saying. If you hire good people, regardless of there being a studio, you can get a good movie.
No, there would be no movie without the studio. Who's going to have the budget to pay these movies?
Who said that? Nobody. My
Who's
point
gonna have the
is,
budget to
you
make
can
these
be
movies?
a studio who hires good people to make the movie, like Ryan Reynolds and the fella who in what was his name, Tim Miller or whatever. Hire people who can
And
make
they
good
had
material.
a huge falling out after the first movie, and then that's why he didn't do the second one.
Yes, but those studio left them alone to make a movie, and they made a
No,
movie.
they
and it was
definitely
a very
did
good
not.
movie.
They did not leave them alone. You think they just said, "Here's $200 million to make a movie. We're gonna do nothing
No.
to check in on our investment and make sure it's good."
But no, but I'm
They
saying
walked
they
away
made
and
they
said, "All right,
made
just make a
the.
good
I would
movie,
think
we
they
trust
pretty
you."
much made the movie they wanted to make. And
Yeah,
you're saying
because-
nobody
because-
because
No,
studios
no,
like
no.
micromanage every little thing, and I'm
said
saying that's
exactly
ridiculous.
what I said exactly was the studio's interested in making money, and
Yes.
if what the creative people are doing align with that, they're cool with it, which they did.
Everyone
And
wants
Deadpool.
success, though. Success is money. Like everyone
Yes.
wants to make something that will be
Yeah,
responded to well. So like
Devin,
those things
I would
aren't.
love to live in the world where what you're saying is correct. It's just
Those
if
aren't
you don't-
contrary things.
No,
Like you're arguing some people want to make money and some people want to make something good, and that those aren't the exact same goal. Which
no,
they
I'm not
basically
arguing. I didn't
are.
say it's one or the other. I'm saying in order to get a big budget movie made, the studio is involved with it. That's what started this, and
Yeah,
it has
but
to be
that's like
involved.
such a like a generic thing to say. Like the studio's involved. Like that can mean a million different things on a million
No,
different
it-
levels.
Okay, well, what do you want me to tell you? They've not, you're saying that they pick creative people and they walk away and say, "Great, do what you
I'm
want."
saying you can, and sometimes they do.
Not with big
And
studio.
often
movies.
it makes a lot more money.
Not with big
Like
studio
for
movies.
example, they did the same thing with Iron Man. They didn't even have a script. They just let John Favreau.
Do you remember what I
and
just
Robert Downey
said 10
Jr.
minutes
make a
ago when
movie.
I said that the more money the movies make and they make more of them, the worse they get because the studio gets more involved when more money's on the line. Was Iron Man 2 better than Iron Man 1?
Yeah, but the thing about these X-Men movies is they've sort of been like this.
Because they start a new thing. Like Wolverine was kind of a new entity. It was connected to X-Men, but it was sort of its own thing.
I mean, this one
When
has
they restarted X-Men, it kind of was this new. This suffered greatly because the last movie didn't do well, and the studio gave them a bunch less money and cut their budget. This was supposed to be 2 movies, which they cut back to 1, and they also were supposed to have
And
more.
it's not
characters in
even
it,
one. It's
which
not
they
even
cut-
one.
Which there's Sierra was supposed to be in it. There's supposed to be a whole way bigger thing that they had to cut because of budgetary reasons.
Well, in this one, during production, it was when the buyout happened too, isn't it?
Yeah, part of it. I guess this was set up to like start a new trilogy or a new series of X-Men films,
Yeah.
focusing on the younger guy. Like would have been all been about. They probably would have brought Jean back, and would have been all about Jean and Cyclops and all of those guys, Storm and all the people that we barely got to see in this movie because they didn't do very well.
Right. Yeah, but then
And none of them
Disney
have-
comes in and-
Yeah, no, I don't think this.
personality.
I don't
Like-
think this is. I don't think this is a good movie by far. I just don't
This
think
is
it's
the
a Zero movie either. It's just like it's weird. It's very tonally weird, and also like. Anyway, I'll get into it when we talk about it.
it's just so badly casted. Like no one has any personality in this movie. Like
No, it's all the same cast from last time.
I
Like,
just
they're
had this
keeping
thing right.
characters.
It's just like best. I was trying to get some audio clips, and it's like best scenes from this movie, and it's just like a compilation of all the best scenes. And normally a thing like that gets me a lot of audio clips, but in this case, there was almost no dialogue in any of that 7 minutes of best scenes from this movie because there's not a single. There's maybe one
Mostly
line
action
worth saying.
sequences.
Yeah, but those aren't even very good. Is the thing.
Well, and the
But, like,
villain's
there's-
forgettable. The villain's a
I'm
generic.
not going mad.
By the
Other
way,
than this
the
line-
women are always saving the men around here. You might want to think about changing the name to ex-women.
That's pretty much the only line worth speaking in this entire movie. The rest of it is like a completely nothing burger dialogue. Simon Kinberg should be ashamed of himself because it's such a nothing burger. Like, and you could change any line in it to anything, and it would make this movie better. It was all just nothing dialogue the entire way through. Even all the like things. Like, was anyone affected by Mystique's death? Did anyone care? Like, this was just exhausting. Like, I was
He's scared.
exhausted by this franchise before this movie, but I had only seen this for the first time 2 days ago, and I was so exhausted watching this movie. Like, I was exhausted by the casting choices, the lack of personality of all the X-Men characters. Like, how that's just so the opposite of what the X-Men are, who, like, all the characters have, like, amazing, interesting personalities. Like, hundreds of characters in the X-Men have amazing, interesting personalities, and they can't put together 5. Like, this, yeah. I'm almost time to fire up that X ranted again, because I could go on and on. It was dreadful. To me, this was dreadful. The only thing that could have been interesting, because like you're saying, Andre, where they had to cut it down from 2 movies to 1, you can tell. But
No, the villains are forgettable. I don't know who they are. They don't say who
well,
they are.
it's
There's
the
nothing to do with
Dabari.
anything.
It's the people that in the comics, the Phoenix extinguished their entire planet and murdered the entire planet, right?
But why do you
So,
care about
like-
that as a casual fan or any fan?
You don't. That's exactly.
That's what
it.
I'm saying,
But, like,
yeah.
that
They're
could have
not-
been cool with like some fleshing out, like the people smited by the Phoenix, and they sort of mention it. They're like, she can bring our planet back. You're like,
Yeah, but that doesn't mean anything. It's like,
no.
ow. You know,
Nothing in this
can
movie
the Phoenix
means
bring the dead back to life? Like what does it do? Like, I guess it can bring the person that is the Phoenix back to life, but can it bring random people back? You know, like whole worlds. It's very strange.
Yeah.
Also, why
It's
did it kill
almost-
them in the first place? Is just go around in space killing whatever's in its way?
Yeah. I mean, at least it wasn't Jean's like a manifestation of her power, like in X3, because that was
Very little is explained about what it is and what it does.
That's even better than a manifestation of her power, though. And this movie could have just been called Phoenix. Like, it could have just been called X-Men Phoenix because they cut out the whole Phoenix thing. So they're like, there was no Phoenix to go dark. There's no dark Phoenix because there's just whatever this entity is, which if you call the Phoenix, like, that's what it does to you. It makes you dark. There was no good Phoenix. Like, they cut everything out of this movie. It left it with nothing. I mean, they even killed off, like, didn't kill him off, but they took Quicksilver off the board way too fast because he's the only thing interesting in these movies.
He barely does anything in this one.
Yeah, I think he had another filming thing going on too.
They don't even capitalize on like anything to do with the fact he's Magneto's son. It's not even mentioned in this movie. So, like, it's that part just kind of get left behind at the wayside.
That would have been interesting, so that definitely couldn't make it.
Well,
into
we
this
knew he knew in the last movie, but
That would have been character stuff. That wasn't just forced like deaths and like Gene Scott, like that usual stuff. Like,
Well, there is some character stuff in this, so I don't necessarily think it's for the better. Like basically, like they're like Charles Xavier kind of just becomes sort of a villain. Not really a villain, but they really make him out to be like,
oh, he's a villain in this, isn't he?
Fairly self-absorbed and like, a little like. I get where they're kind of going, and Jean has a lot of stuff, but then they kill her off at the end, so it's like, what's the point of it all? I guess
There's no point of this movie.
I'm not. Nobody said there was.
No.
Money, that's what it was, and it did not do that either. It made no money. It lost a lot of money.
It didn't deserve it. Didn't deserve to make money. This was a nothing burger. But like,
Because-
I've never seen so much bad casting in a movie. Like, I don't know how these people got these jobs. Maybe they're good actors, though. I wasn't really blown away by Sansa in Game of Thrones either. She is awful as Jean Grey. Like, she just has no personality. Like, why would you like any of these people? No, not offense as people, but why would you like any of these portrayals of these characters? Cyclops is a nothing burger.
Terrible.
Jean's a nothing burger. Storm's a nothing burger. How are there so many nothing burgers in a movie?
Does Storm even have any lines in this movie?
She like kowtows to Scott a couple of times.
Yeah,
like it
that's
was
right,
just to
that's right.
service him.
Mm-hmm.
Like it. Oh, now I'm angry. That's insulting to Storm. Now, yeah. Let's get Allison Smith in here. See what she thinks of this. This is ridiculous.
She's probably never seen it.
Of course not.
They don't watch this shit.
She
Just
has
us.
taste. Oh my. Daniel says we needed Lalandra and her bug-like headpiece. We sure did. And in the trailers for this movie, I was sure Jessica Chastain was playing some weird version of Lalandra. But that was not the case. That would have made it better. Like,
Jeez,
this movie
look.
was long enough. Like, this movie was 2 hours anyway. They could have put the Shi'ar in here and cut some of the other crap out. Like,
Well, like it's like 2 hours of nothing though. Like, so you watch
Yeah.
this movie, and I don't want to say it goes fast because it doesn't necessarily go fast. But like by the time it's over, I'm like, wait, what did I just watch in 2 hours? Because I don't remember anything actually happening.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it is. There's a lot and a little. Like they stretch it out over a lot of time, and it's mostly just kind of reasons to get everyone together for the big thing at the end, which wasn't that exciting. Although there were some fun parts about the fight sequence at the end.
I like the I will get there, but like
Yeah, this thing, the yeah. Well, let's talk about the movie. We've been talking. We've been listening to Devin Rand for half an hour. I think we can.
sorry, I'm
talk
a
about the
bit
movie
heated
now.
about this one.
You can do it while we're going through the movie. That's kind of the point.
Okay. Here we are.
All right. look at. Also, like, just how Chastain looks like a ghoul. She's like all pale and like. I know she's already kind of pale, but just with the blonde hair and how pale she is, makes her. And it's not even that she's an alien. She looked that way when she was a human before they took her form.
See, if you go back and look at the posters, because we brought them up in our background for all of these movies, they're actually decent posters. They couldn't even scrape a decent poster together for this movie. No one cared enough to even do that. This looks like a VHS release of some like 90s TV show. This is what would be on the VHS. Like, this is not a gajillion $1 million movie poster for me.
also it
What'd you get
had
there?
one of the best popcorn buckets from Regal.
That is amazing. Beast and Cyclops on there. That's pretty sweet.
Yeah, this is all I remember from this movie until I watch it again.
Oh wait, is that Cyclops? I mean that Beast. Does he look like Nicholas Holt's Beast?
Yeah, it's him. There's just no.
I thought the Nicholas Holt's Beast looked as the best it's ever looked in this one.
Well, yeah, I mean it's probably the best Nicholas Holt Beast we've got, and I agree. Yeah, but that's
Well,
not
especially
saying much.
I do appreciate that they stuck with the practical effects too.
Yeah, a lot of it does. It does do that, which is cool.
I still find the switching back and forth he does really stupid.
Yeah, and also like why? Like why do that?
Like, yeah, no, go all the way. Like, you can do his scenes all in a weekend or whatever you have to do. Like, they did it for Kelsey Grammer. If he's an older fella, if he can do it, then Nicholas Holt can do it.
Well, he's in this movie a lot. Like he's in this movie a lot. And they did establish that he can kind of take pills or whatever for his to keep. Well, I guess it seems to. He can do it at will now, according seemingly now.
Yeah, they don't even. They don't care. They don't care to explain anything to you. Like they.
No,
why
no, they
should
really
we
don't.
care when the people who made this didn't care? Like
Yeah,
I'm.
well,
I'm
we're
sure.
not. We
I don't.
Why do you like think we care? We don't care. Like,
No, but I'm saying we should though. Like, as X-Men
yeah, of
fans,
course.
like they
Yeah,
should
of
be
course.
wanting us to care about this. But if they're not even going to care, why the hell should we care? The people who made X-Men '97, they cared.
sure did.
So it can be done, but my God, you know what? The X-Men '97 makes these movies all look a lot worse, don't they? It's
Oh,
not,
yeah.
like, because you can put good X-Men stuff out there and people will love it because it's X-Men. They could have. These didn't age well. Good job, X-Men '97.
You're saying this movie? This movie's from 2019. You're saying this
It's like
movie
5
didn't
years
age well?
old.
It's not even 5 years old. Like you're like, this movie did not age well. It just
Well, I
was a
can't
bad
say,
movie.
'cause
It
I
was
didn't
bad when
see
it came out. It
out.
wasn't.
But
It's
that
not
doesn't
like
make
it's
it
not like
even
that.
a
Oh,
little
we could
worse.
go back to the sweet vanished past of 2019 and experience this one. But like it's the same as it was when
The innocent times.
it wasn't good then. But it also, like I said, I liked it better than X-Men Last Stand. That's for sure. So
Check it out, Jamil. Yeah, Jamil says we should care about X-Men '97, and he's right.
should, it's
Jamil's
great.
going to SDCC. Enjoy, Jamil.
Have fun.
Yeah.
yeah, it's gonna be a blast. All right, let's breeze through this because there's not a lot to talk about.
There sure isn't.
So we see young girl traveling with her parents in a car. We quickly, ow, sorry, my cat bit me. We quickly learn that it is Jean
The
Grey.
cats they're up and rambunctious tonight.
No, he always sleeps at my feet when I do this. But sometimes if I move my foot and I don't know he's there, I tap him and he bites me in retaliation. So he's not wrong. You're not wrong, buddy.
My cat's up there plotting my death now or something because he's being quiet. So it's not good.
They
You-
hate the
you-
movie too. It's fine.
yeah. Maybe it's just the cat's lament. That's funny. It's funny because there's a version of this poster that's much cooler, where it's like a drawn-looking poster instead of the.
Instead of this one.
Yeah, it kind of looks more like an illustrated one.
Oh, look who's here.
You bringing Jamil in?
Jamil's in. Jamil, are you on the
how's it
streets
going?
of SDCC right now?
I am.
Well, holy shit.
So I'm just in front of the wine bank right here, and
Perfect place to
Wednesday,
stop.
yeah, Wednesday to Sunday. Ignore the Kevin Hart stuff, but Wednesday to Sunday, Unknown Comics is going to be hosting a lot of the voice actors and voice actors from X-Men '97. So you don't
Oh.
have to go to STC, which is down the street, to come and see them. So
Oh,
great
you can
opportunity to
just
come
go
see
there.
them, see the people. Yes.
Do it, everybody.
I just want to come and say hi.
Hey,
Yes.
I'll
I'll try and do stuff while I'm down here. Love you too. Love the shirt. Sorry, Andre. Next time, I'll get you.
oh, it's okay. It's all right. Davin, I'm just happy to see Davin happy with this shirt. So
All right.
I'm very happy.
It's not my week, so I'll skedaddle. You all have a great show. Continue. Yes, Dark Phoenix sucks.
yeah.
Be careful on those streets of San Diego. I hear they're rough.
Yep. See, gotta keep my mind about me.
Yep.
All right.
Keep
Be
your
well.
wits about you. All right. See ya.
Hey, buddy.
See ya.
All right.
Okay, here we go. So, yep. Then there's some argument over what they're listening to. The little girl wants to hear a certain station. The mom says she'll have to be old enough to drive to decide that. She used her powers to change the radio. The thing that's kind of confusing to me about this, it seems like there was something in her from a young age, not just her powers that are, because they kind of alluded that she had some Dark Phoenix aspects in her before, like in Apocalypse, which is what she used to blow up Apocalypse right at the end. So it's sort of weird, but anyway, she basically can't control her powers very well while trying to change the radio station. She wants the radio station to change. She's not consciously doing it, but her powers are a bit out of control. And when she's trying to figure it out, she inadvertently caused her mom to pass out using her powers, causing the car to verge in front of a truck and have this crazy crash, which kills her mom and seemingly her dad, but we'll get to that later. We find out she gets adopted by Charles and brought to the school, where he promises to teach her to use her powers and walks her through the trauma of, I guess, what she went through. To me, the best part of the movie is this part. which is when we see, because we've never really gotten, let's just have the X-Men as a super team. They're all in the same costume. They're fighting threats together. They get to be superheroes, and it's great. And I was like, just watching the first bit of this, where they like, there's a space
With
shuttle.
the costumes, like
Yeah, but just like, and them getting cheers and seeing an audience, those kids painted blue like them, and them just do, and then, like, everything is really like it. I just wanted like one or two movies. I always thought this too about the Avengers movies. There's always some internal crisis. We never really just get a movie where it's them getting to be a group of superheroes against an evil group of superheroes or something, right? There's always some horrible internal thing going on, or them coming together, or getting the team together. It's like all of these movies are always that. I just want one where it's like we get a fun super team doing super team stuff, like, and that's what we got for like 10 minutes in this before it all went to hell. But seeing them all kind of working together, seeing Charles with like his cool chair and everything, it's like everything we've built for has finally got us to the point where we can watch them just be a superhero team. But then we just can't do that. So I dug this scene. They go to space to rescue a shuttle that is trapped, seemingly in space. So the team suits up and send them into space to save them on Charles' behest, even though they don't think that they can do it. They manage to get in there, and Raven's upset that they seem to be taking more risks. She makes that known. Early on, they get to that as more of a conversation, but they go into space to rescue these astronauts. There's all kinds of cool use of their power to kind of jump in between the shuttle and the Blackbird, saving these people. But there's one guy left behind, and they say it's a solar flare which disrupted the shuttle, but it seems to be some kind of space cloud.
everything's a goddamn space cloud.
Yeah, just like Galactus and Fantastic. Could have been Galactus from Fantastic Four too, or he was just a giant space cloud.
She was possessed by Galactus. This movie's better than I thought.
The head cannon's filling it in, baby. We're going.
Yeah, exactly. Filling the gaps here. But you know what? You're right. That was my favorite part too. Is like,
yeah, they got like
they're just like
superheroes.
they're calling in the president's calling in the X-Men to fly into
yeah.
space and save astronauts. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, that's great. I was really happy. I actually smiled. I was on the treadmill at the gym, and I smiled when I saw that scene because I was like, "This is cool."
Yeah.
Just seeing them all kind of look like a team, doing team stuff, and the president calling Charles and him setting them off. Like, this is great. And like, so they use Nightcrawler's ability to, and they show all their abilities. I don't know how Storm's powers work in space, but apparently they do.
She's Iceman in this movie. She's not Storm. She's just they wanted Iceman.
You're saying that because she used her powers to make ice twice in this movie. Now she's Iceman.
Which is pretty much all she does in this movie.
One is ice
Shoots
cubes.
lightning once.
One is ice cubes, and one is sealing up
ice.
the shuttle with ice.
She's Iceman.
Yep. So
she made space colder. That's what she did. She made outer space colder to freeze the panels.
Well, they didn't seem to get super far out of the atmosphere. Like, it's all kind of taking place with the Earth just below them. So
it's pretty cold up there already.
It's pretty cold. Is it like Revenge? Is the dish best served cold? It's very cold in space.
Yep. In space.
So they all use their powers to help the shuttle. Cyclops uses a blast through like a port they have built into the ship to, which I think is kind of cool. That Cyclops is like
I thought that
gunner.
was kind of cool too.
Yeah, they have like a little thing where he sits in and uses beams to shoot out like a. So he used that to slow the spin of the shuttle. Nightcrawler teleports Quicksilver over to gather everybody up fast. They leave someone when they get everyone back to their shuttle. They find out there's still someone behind in a different room, but the shuttle's going to explode fairly soon or fall apart. So Charles wants them to go save the other guy. He knows that he suggests that Jean can keep the shuttle together. Everyone's hesitant for that to happen, but yes, it's very apparent that Charles has a very high opinion of the powers of Jean, because he has an intimate knowledge of what they are, I guess. But anyway, they send her
and
to
that he's
shuttle.
willing to do anything to look good in front of the humans is how they're playing him off. He's just like, yes, sometimes we'll die, but we have to look good in front of the humans if they're going to accept us.
Like, he's not wrong,
but how many child soldiers does he have to sacrifice?
I mean, it's for all of humanity. If mutants are seen on TV being like, well, we only help our own kind and don't care that much about humans, it's going to be hard to integrate. I'm not saying that he did it the right way, but he's certainly not wrong. It's a little more complicated.
So we're going to sacrifice one of ours for their astronaut? He's like, yes! Yes, we are. Oh, Charles.
He's an astronaut. He knows stuff.
You know what? This movie would have been better. The X-Men never should have went back to Earth. This should have been a space movie. They should have like went from here to like Chandelar or something like that.
They basically Guardians of the Galaxy. So it would have been fun. That would have been fun. I agree with that. But anyway, so Jean goes in. She manages as the space cloud gets close to the shuttle. She gets trapped behind because they have to leave last minute. She kind of takes in all of the pushes the X-Men to safety with her powers and sort of absorbs this cloud that goes through her. But she, after the shuttle explodes, she's still floating in space, and they're surprised. They think she's dead, and they manage to bring her back in and get her back to Earth. And this we see like the crowds cheering as they arrive with the astronauts. There's little kids that paint themselves blue to be like Nightcrawler.
Or Beast.
Or Mystique.
Raven.
All three, which are blue.
Everyone's blue. They couldn't have two green people in Guardians of the Galaxy, but they could have 3 or 4 blue people in this fucking movie.
A lot of blue people in this movie. It's funny, like, what is it? The X-Men gene just tends, or the X gene just tends to make people blue when it alters their physicality somehow.
And you know, if we're talking about emotional states, you could say Charles, Magneto, and Cyclops were a little blue.
They listen to a lot of Miles Davis.
They're blue, dabba dee boppa da.
That's not Miles Davis. That's
no, I know.
That's that's Eiffel 65. Is that
little
band.
Kind of blue? Little.
That's right.
Oh yeah.
So we get back to Earth. They check out.
Miles runs the voodoo down. Check that one out. That's a good song.
All this stuff's great. There's a bit of a confrontation between Mystique and Charles, where she accused him of, being more worried about how he's seen, and going to these events with the president, all this sort of stuff, more than caring about the students. He put them in a lot of danger. He says this is sort of the cost. She even says that, putting us all in matching costumes to make it seem more like this, and which makes sense. I mean, Joss Whedon kind of pointed that out in his story, that the X-Men are more trustworthy when they're more like superheroes and less like some leather-clad militia like they look like in Grant Morrison's run.
She also says, "I don't remember the last time anything or something cost you anything."
Literally,
you can't walk.
and he lost all his hair fighting Apocalypse, he's in a wheelchair, and they're like, "I don't remember the last time you." It's like
Steven.
It's about 20 years ago when I took a bullet to the spine that you caused, by the way. We also see him drinking a lot, which I think is kind of funny. Like, it just sort of seems like he's a little like they made him back when they first introduced him kind of like more of a cavalier 70s kind of dude, and that's still sort of persisting, even though it's like 92 now, which is also a fun side note. As the series takes place when the X-Men 92 show started, so hey.
It also makes this movie look bad.
I mean, I don't think anybody besides people like us that put that together would even recognize or care.
There's millions of us, Andre. Millions.
There's not millions. There's definitely not millions of us. Having several billion people in the world live in countries that I doubt care very much about the X-Men.
Our analytics suggest almost every country cares about the X-Men.
Yes, but I'm talking about all of humanity.
I'm talking about mutants.
Many of which probably don't even have or watch televisions. And you're like, they care. Okay.
Everyone in the poorest countries have cell phones now.
Yeah, that's fair. But you also don't assume that they're using those. Every one of them is using the cell phones to go compare X-Men 97 with cartoons or movies.
You don't have to assume that. I'm gonna go ahead and assume that.
All right. Well, I'd love to live in your world, Dad. It sounds like
it's very pro X-Men.
It sounds like a lovely place that doesn't have to deal with the rigors of reality. I love it.
Reality in small doses, my friend.
I agree. But unfortunately, that's just not the case for most of us. So, Jean gets checked out by Beast. He says that her power level's off the charts. Whatever happened to her has amplified her power significantly. We see a group of socialites having a dinner party somewhere. One of them hears the dog barking. Jessica Chastain's character, who I believe
could have been the Hellfire Club.
Could have been, but it's not. It's just some random humans having a dinner party. But then the dog barks. She goes out to investigate. apparently, it was almost Angelina Jolie, but she turned it down to go do when they were trying
anything
to do that.
Else.
when they're trying to do that Universal Monsters universe that was going to start with the Mummy, and then she was going to do the Bride of Frankenstein, but all that fell apart because the Mummy movie did abysmal.
And so did the other one, the Dracula one they did.
No, that Dracula Untold that had nothing to do with this.
Apparently, it was.
No, it wasn't. That was years before this came out.
Yeah, but I heard that was part of the same universe being folded in.
I don't believe so. Because they had plans for, well, maybe so, but doesn't matter now. Because that movie was so bad it just killed what could have been.
Don't hire Tom Cruise.
I was so
to
looking
launch
forward
your
to
monster
that.
franchise.
I was so looking forward to that, and like all of the casting and like the stuff they now sounded
Tom
so
Cruise.
Cool. No, not that. Everything else sounded so cool. They had Javier Bardem playing Frankenstein. Angelina Jolie being the Bride of Frankenstein, and Johnny Depp being the Invisible Man. It just sounded like it would have been really cool, and then it sucked so bad. It's funny that
I was stoked for a relaunched Marvel Universal Monsters too.
Yeah, I know, but anyway,
it would have been cool.
So everyone at the dinner party are taken over by these aliens to take their forms. We cut back to the X-Men celebrating their victory. We notice that Jean seems more aggressive, also more like wrapped up in like base emotions, like primal kind of emotions.
Season 5 Sansa Stark.
Sure. Also, I thought we never had a live action Dazzler. I forgot there was one in this movie. So they're having a party outside and Dazzler's performing. Yeah, well, she's definitely meant to be Dazzler. I'm not saying it's good. Or
Disco Dazzler can bust out some bopping friggin' disco. That was garbage crap, AI generated pop trash that she was singing. Dazzler would never sing that crap. It was awful. Like, I saw it coming too. I heard the music. I'm like, they're not going to make this Dazzler, are they? Dazzler would be like jamming. No. Awful.
Okay. Anyway, so we see Charles is giving a speech at a fancy thing about what his X-Men have done, blah, blah, blah. Jean has sort of becomes overwhelmed during the party and causes some kind of an outburst, which knocks everyone down and hurts a few people. Charles tries to use Cerebro, go into her mind, and discovers that whatever's happening to her is undoing all these mental blocks he put in her head as a kid to try to protect her from some memories she would be better off without having, apparently, to not be tortured by. But she pushes him out of her head when she wakes up and discovers that her dad is still alive from these memories. And then goes off to go find him.
What did you guys think of that twist? Like in the first time we all convened to review a Phoenix movie, it was that Charles was suppressing a part of her thing and lying to her about that. And that's what sent her over the edge. You lied to me about that. This time it's this particular lie.
Yeah, but it all kind of gets... I don't remember how... I don't think Jean Grey and Charles had a moment. Well, yeah, because she killed him, right? Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's right. There was no come to Jesus moment with the two of them because she turned him to dust. Right, I forgot about that. So, yeah. So she goes off to go find her dad.
What do you guys think of this, though? This whole, like, dad twist?
Well, they had to put some reason why Charles did this to save her from something. The pain of her parents dying. I guess she does remember, but to save her from the fact that her dad didn't want her. Basically. Yeah, like he obviously had his issues. This daughter killed his wife, so it's more complicated than just saying she's a mutant, I hate her. But he was so, like, literally it seemed like he was so in love that his life was destroyed when she died. And that because his daughter had done that, his love for his wife outshone his love for his daughter, I guess, and therefore he couldn't.
And I would say, if at the very least, I think this one would be more traumatizing for Jean in the actual information into like the darker version.
Yeah,
yeah. Because, well, I mean, like The Last Stand, it didn't even make any damn sense when she went bad. But
no, really, they just changed her hair color.
The plot demanded it. The plot demanded it. That's why.
Yeah, most of the Jean choices are better in this movie.
So there's a lot of her and Scott seem sweet together. I'm not saying it's the best. You only get a few moments of them being together, but they seem to generally care for each other, which is nice.
Except she gets a little frisky, and he's like, "Jean, please." We all know from
It's like that script we read that Skur had written, where he's just like, I don't have time to have sex, Gene. I got to focus on being leader of the team. God damn it!
We all know Cyclops never fucks. Never.
97, he sure does.
Oh yeah, 97 he sure does. 97 Cyclops is cool, man. It's the way Cyclops should be.
So we see, we do get a little bit insight of the aliens. We see that they've taken the forms of several people and that they're working together to try to find the Phoenix with this force. We don't really know as to why yet. But Charles got knocked out when he was trying to enter Jean's head and she pushed him off.
Does anyone ever call it the Phoenix in this entire movie?
They don't call the force that. Cyclops says that the kids are at the party they're at. He says the kids are all calling her Phoenix because she seemingly died and then came back. That's the only reference to Phoenix in this entire movie that's made.
Okay.
And so it even makes it weirder that it's called Dark Phoenix because it's like there's nothing in the movie to really establish that. Some kids call her Phoenix, and then that's
what I mean. There's no Phoenix to go dark. This movie just should have been called X-Men Phoenix, but that's not dark enough.
And if I recall correctly, which is kind of funny because there are weird parallels between this movie and the original. Like I know this got compared to The Last Stand quite a bit. Back in the day, but it also kind of for some reason comes full circle in a very similar way to the Dark. Like it obviously is about her in the Dark Phoenix stuff, so that's a direct parallel. But there's some weird choices. So like so she finally goes off to confront her dad. Charles, earlier Mystique wanted to leave. She thought things are better. She doesn't trust that Charles has his right goals in mind. So her and Beast are together now. She wants Beast to come off there and for them to go actually enjoy the life they've built. Like the world now accepts mutants and they're let to do their thing. Let's go enjoy that. Here, your laundry's ready, Devin. Well, that is a long buzzer for a dryer.
I muted most of it. You only heard about a third of it.
Yeah I know. That's a very long buzzer for a dryer.
I know. I think we tore it out of the other one. I'm like, that has to stop. I'm a podcaster. And like somehow we took care of it.
Yeah.
Podcasting
is dirty. It's messy. It's life. It's blood.
We do it live.
That's right. Fuck it. We'll do it live. So this is what's interesting to me is like, okay, so in the original X-Men Last Stand, Jean goes back to her parents' house. There's a big confrontation between her and Charles there where she kills Charles. In this one, she goes back to her parents' house, which is her dad's house, discovers that her dad didn't want her because she has pictures of his dead wife everywhere, but not of her. And then she quickly realizes that, and he admits to her that she sees the memory becomes available, that he gave her to Charles essentially because he was scared of her and resented her for killing his wife. He didn't want nothing to do with her anymore. So
John Gray does 90% of the acting in this movie.
He's a very good actor, actually. I've seen him in a lot of other stuff. He's quite good. That laundry, the cats and laundry. This is podcasting, people. That's what we got.
The babies stay sleeping, and I get laundry and cats. Like my life is
screaming,
in shambles.
That's going off. Is there an air raid siren nearby that might go off at some point? Is there police nearby? Is there a crackhead next door that might get?
There is an air base really close to here, so maybe.
Were you in Greenfield?
No, there's Shearwater.
Oh right. So yeah, so in this version, she goes off to see her parents, gets in an altercation with the X-Men, and kills Mystique. It's like the exact same plot point, just with different characters fitting the roles. Yeah. It's weird. So the X-Men know where she's going because Charles knows that she now has a memory that her dad's still alive. So they take them to her house. They try to reason with her. Her powers go out of control. She gets when the police show up because the dad called the police.
Why did he call the police?
Yeah. Like I think I guess why wouldn't he call Charles?
Yeah, like somebody who could maybe stop her. What are the police gonna do?
So during the fight, they all try to stop her, and she manages to use her powers to pretty much not allow that to happen. But then when Raven tries to reach out to her and try to help her, she inadvertently causes her to get impaled on some rubble and die. And she leaves, and Beast is, assists with her until she dies. Apparently, Jennifer Lawrence was done doing this role, but felt she owed it to Simon Kinberg to come back, at least give a reason why Mystique's no longer part of the team. And this is what they did.
Yeah,
so she's done that 3 movies ago.
Well, at this point, she was like full-fledged, awards for movies and shit. I'm not doing the X-Men.
Yeah, she probably had an Oscar at this point. I think definitely, yeah, for
yeah, because
America. Yeah,
after Silver Linings Playbooks, right?
Yeah, I think
Now
so.
look where all the awards are going.
Wasn't American Hustle she won it for?
Like, yeah, I don't remember which one it was.
Oh yeah, me neither. Yeah.
But it was like, even look at like Mystique itself, right? She still has like the blue skin, but like the most like scale she has is she has like 1, 2, 3 here, and
Yeah, there's a couple.
there it is. And that picture actually has more than like that. Even like her
Yeah, that's
death
quite a
scene doesn't
few.
even have the ones here.
But it's no like Rebecca Romaine's Mystique, like with
No,
just
no,
like
no.
serious detail. It looked really cool.
Actually, she's older in this movie than Rebecca Romaine was in X-Men 1.
Yeah, she looks like a
shit.
12-year-old. Everyone in this movie, everyone they cast looks like a 12-year-old. Even McAvoy. It's like, that's cool, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, think how much money they saved on makeup though with having like the big long sleeve uniforms and stuff. Because all you had to have is like hands and like from like here up, and that's it. Not even. You got a fucking turtleneck, so it's.
But like,
literally
I just love like the look of them. Like this, like seeing them all as like a. It's not the perfect costume in the world, but
It's
just
pretty
seeing
cheap
this
looking.
image is kind of cool. Like it's like little
like-
Jack Kirby art. We get like a big X-Men team together, all wearing matching suits, and Charles looks cool. Like I don't know, it could have been. It had such potential.
It could have been that scene like from X-Men 97 where they all walk out in their new costumes, or like the equivalent from the Joss Whedon
if we
comic
just
book where they
had,
do
like,
the same thing.
A great story about a great team of X-Men that are heroes in the eyes of the world fighting Mr. Sinister and his group of nasty boys or whatever. That would have been really fun instead of
I was gonna say that.
like that would have been cool. Or I wouldn't say the Brotherhood of Mutants because Magneto's been around enough, but maybe another version of them without him in the lead, or maybe an old group of his former people that.
But
come
like
back.
at this point, like they've already like referenced Sinister in like 3 different movies at this point, and we still didn't get it in this movie. I'm like, what the fuck? Like you've been building towards Sinister in like multiple other movies, and then it's like, oh no, we're gonna do Dark Phoenix.
Well, they
drop
plans for
Essex
more
into every movie. Like,
yeah, he's even in Deadpool the school that
Yeah.
the kid was at was the Essex
Yep.
school.
just like, okay, give us Mr. Sinister then. But yeah, right.
So she goes off, in torment over what happened. The X-Men have a funeral for Raven. Beast blames Charles for all of this because he put them in more and more danger and did all this stuff with Jean's mind. They have a real argument about it. The aliens are still trying to find her. She goes off to Magneto. Magneto has like a mutant sanctuary somewhere that apparently was given to him by the U.S. government. I don't know when that happened, but he said that the government gave them this land to have a mutant sanctuary on that he's allowed to be at. He was still a fugitive at the end of the last movie.
Here's your shanty town. Have fun.
Yeah, he lives
Wave
like
of the
a
magic wand.
he lives like in a hollowed out tanker that's like buried straight up in the ground. Like it's probably not the best living quarters.
He lives on the Logan set.
Yeah, kind of. I also love the kind of shoehorn in this weird U.S. general that doesn't really get any kind of a storyline besides the fact that his kids like the X-Men.
Just call him Stryker.
It seems to mean something later when he dies. Like it's odd. It's like manufacturing a character we care about when they really don't give us anything to care about.
They can't even make us care about any of these characters.
I cared enough about Beast. Beast is a good enough actor, and he's been around long enough for me to care about him. Yeah, I thought he looked pretty decent in this movie. Like that looks cool. I actually cared a little bit about Magneto.
Look at tiny Cyclops back there.
Yeah, he's tiny.
Exactly. Tiny Cyclops. Hashtag Tiny Wolverine. Let's do it.
Well, I'm assuming what happens is, and I'm not trying just to play devil's advocate all the time or defend the studio, but in the previous movie where they introduced this version of Cyclops, he was like a teenager. Years go by and they make another one and he didn't grow. So they're kind of stuck with him. They're like, all right, I guess he's 5'7" because he's who he had before and he's not any bigger. So that's what you got.
That's why back in the day Hollywood knew when you want a teenager, you hire a 35-year-old.
Yeah. You would have been pretty upset if it was like a pot-marked,
surprise.
haggard Lance Hendrickson looking guy that's like fucking
Lance
Cyclops.
Hendrickson would play a hell of a Cyclops.
He's like 90 years old.
I'll take it.
All right. Anywho, she basically tries to talk to Magneto, and essentially she's there looking.
He was Electro. He was supposed to be Electro. Lance
I know
Hendrickson.
he was. Yeah, I talked about this before.
Yeah.
There's a podcast they did where they talked about this. It was the James Cameron script.
Yeah.
But he wouldn't have been Max Dillon. He had a different name. He just had those powers. He also used those powers to become a millionaire. So he's like super rich. And his henchman was like really quiet and mysterious the whole time, and then would have been Sandman secretly later when a big fight happens and you find that out. But it wasn't interesting. It was James Cameron's script. Leonardo DiCaprio would have been Peter Parker, and like it would have been a very different, interesting movie for sure. I like parts of it. There's some really the script. If you listen to the best movies never made, they do a whole episode on it. A bunch of Spider-Man movies never got made, but that one seemed like it had some potential. That was James Cameron, but a little darker than Spider-Man needs to be, I think, in my opinion. So Jean's looking for some kind of a path to moving on after doing something terrible, and trying to get help from Magneto with that. Magneto is curious about the blood she has on her, and she doesn't tell him whose it is because, he was close to Raven before, and he'd be upset if he found out. The military show up looking for Jean Grey. Magneto won't give her up, but then she used her powers to basically fuck them all up. And they're like, she's a danger, and then she comes out and just proves why she's a danger by attacking them outright with no real provocation. And then she takes off. Charles, we see that she gets approached by the aliens. Jean does while she's hiding out in a bar somewhere in a different form, or making people see her as an old man. And the aliens want to help her understand her ability, so she goes off with them. You can breeze along this pretty fast.
Not much more happens.
B shows up and explains to Magneto what happened. That he's trying to find Jean too because he wants a level of revenge, I guess.
He wants to kill her because he says, if I find her, I'm going to kill her. He's just like, I know.
Yeah, and Magneto wants to kill her too when he finds out what she did. So he takes his helmet out of storage, and they all go off to go find her.
That's going to work great against a telekinetic.
Yeah. And then they go. There's a bit of a fight between them, the X-Men and Magneto's followers that come along with them.
And who are any of they?
They name a few of them, but none of them seem to be anybody of importance.
What a waste of opportunity for
the guy with the dreadlocks hair seems to he can control his hair, I guess.
He's hair guy.
Like tendrils. There's always like a Medusa type tendril guy. The girl has psychic powers.
There's a fire guy called Match.
Yeah, that's right. Match.
Match.
Good old Match.
Why not? Yeah, no pyro. Match.
So the aliens showed Jean that what entered her was some kind of an entity that destroyed these aliens' homeworld. And they were following it, and they saw what happened when she housed it. They want to use it, and she, is trying to understand it. The X-Men show up trying to get Jean back. They have a tussle with Magneto a little bit when they find out he's there to kill her, basically. But then they all get in a bigger fight with the military who shows up to stop it, and also the aliens themselves as they get into a fight. Jean really overpowers Magneto, rips his helmet off, bends it around him, shoots him off into the street. While they're all pretty much distracted during this fight, Charles is trying to help her, but she's kind of hard to reach at this point. She makes him walk around on his legs, even though he can't, which is kind of seems really vicious, sadistic. It's like, walk on your legs, you cripple, and you're just making him walk around. But anyway, she manages.
Probably the second best scene in the movie, though. It's the only other scene worth watching.
Well, then go ahead.
I felt bad laughing as much as I did.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Well, but
it probably wasn't supposed to be funny, but
it's like dance puppet. She makes him do the Thriller dance. He's just like that. So anyway,
and then make his ankles look broken, but it's that's not why he can't walk. His legs aren't shattered. He has a bullet in his spine.
It's probably because he hasn't used his legs in many years, so everything would be pretty atrophied, right?
I guess so.
So anyway, the alien is taking the power from Jean, and Scott and Charles sees that they're going to kill Jean in doing this, and realizes that their whole plan, because she basically monologues it to him, is that they're going to take the power and use it to turn Earth into their new homeworld. Cyclops manages to get in to save the day and shoots the alien through the ceiling, but Jean passes out, and the rest of them are all shot by tranks by the military. and given inhibitor collars. Then they're all taken on a transport away. And this is where that one cop we saw earlier, the military guy, tells Nightcrawler that his son is his favorite. He's his favorite X-Man. And then the aliens show up to get Jean back because Jean's under sedation with the rest of them on the ship. And then there's a big old fight between the aliens and then the mutants and the military, which they get rid of pretty quickly. There's actually like Nightcrawler some pretty cool fight moments here, and he kind of like when that cop dies, the cop who told him that his son's favorite X-Men was him. He he kind of like snaps a little bit and gets really vicious during the fighting, which I don't think I buy the motivation, but I did like seeing Nightcrawler. Like he takes her and puts her in front of the train, and then fell out on the train just creams her. Like that's kind of cool. It's a little more vicious than I expect Nightcrawler to be. I mean, he's supposed to be kind of a pious guy.
He has his moments.
Yeah.
So that scene, just like the train, from when like the moment that the X-Men are released and then they start fighting the aliens.
Yeah.
If you ignore the rest of the movie and just
it's a cool scene.
But really, it's actually one of the best actual fight scenes.
I agree. That's what I mean. It's pretty cool.
And because like every X-Man was actually being an X-Man, right? Like Storm was using her powers. Magneto's that fucking scene when Magneto
get all the guns,
and just crushes them all.
Yeah.
I was like, I remember being in theaters and cheering because I was the only part of the movie I gave a shit about.
And he takes there's 100 guns all around him, like AK-47s all shooting at the same time all around him. Like it just all this stuff was pretty cool. Like that was cool.
It's like it was goofy as hell, but like that scene, like it's like even like when we're rewatching it, for this.
Yeah.
I remember I got to that scene again. I was like, oh shit! Like I forgot I actually did like this scene. It's like has nothing to do with the movie. Like, but like I was like, it's kind of like you go on YouTube once in a while. And you'll watch like that end game battle scene, with Cap and Thanos, and just watch the rest of it.
Yeah, I probably watch it like twice a year.
Bro, no, absolutely. But like, I could do that with like the 5 minutes of this scene because like it was really good.
It was really good.
The rest of it was shit.
You're right.
During the fight, Cyclops and there's like little moments that are cool, like early on when they go to space, like Nightcrawler's excited to go to space until he gets there, and then he's like put in danger, and he's like, "This isn't as fun as I thought it would be," like like that's a fun little moment, But anyway,
I like that kid that they got for him.
Yeah, Cody.
He's okay.
He's good actor.
Also, doesn't have a lot of personality.
Like he was just kind of fun.
Devin, they don't have a chance to do anything. Like you can't blame most of these actors for the way the roles are because they don't have much to do.
No, fair, but I come from an era where like you could shine up a turd a little bit if you had your own internal personality, and people usually got
have
fired
no
for that
time
reason.
in this, dude. Like none. They have like 3 words lines each, and they like. And I don't know, Nightcrawler. I liked what I saw of him. I would have liked to see a lot more. Mm-hmm. I barely saw anything of Quicksilver, although they're when they do come back from space, you do get a little line of him talking to the kids about. He's explaining to the kid, "Oh man, it's Animal Night here on the show."
Yay, it's Animal Night.
But like when they come back from space, you just kind of catch Pietro in the background. He's talking, all the kids are around him. He's like, I did mostly everything. He's like, Gene did a little bit at the end, but it was mostly me. And it's just like that stuff was fun. They didn't have. I would have liked to see a little more of that. But
yeah,
so Charles manages to get into the chamber where they're holding Jean and go and talk to her in her mind, where she understands why he did what he did, and she forgives him, and he apologizes. And then she comes out and uses her powers to basically just wipe out everybody. And realizing that she won't be able to control the powers, and it'll probably consume her and her friends, she sacrificed herself as well to destroy Vuk, V-U-K, whatever the main alien played with Jessica Chastain is. We then see that the school has now been changed to the Jean Grey School for the Gifted. And Cyclops erects a sign outside. We see Charles is retired off in Europe somewhere. Beast runs the school now in this world. Charles has kind of realized that perhaps he got too wrapped up in his dream, and it got away from him. So he seems to have put it away, or at least gone off to reconnect with his eat, pray, love in Europe. I guess I'm not sure what he's doing, but then Magneto shows up with. And I did like this moment, actually. It's a nice way to cap the series. Unfortunately, the rest of this movie leading up to it wasn't very good. But the where Magneto says at one point, "You came to me to offer me a home and to save me, and I'm doing the same, basically." So they start having a game of chess. which kind of like wraps it all up. The end. Yeah. Which one do you want to play first?
There's a voiceover right after like Jean dies, or whatever, and then they kind of go over the Jean Grey school.
Yeah.
Of Jean talking, that was actually really good, and I wish.
Yeah, because at the start she had one where she explained about evolving. Like, can you really change? Or become
like I actually thought it was actually a pretty solid voiceover. I was like, oh, this is actually kind of nice.
Yeah,
it doesn't fit this movie, but
yeah, her basically saying that she didn't become a monster. She knew what she had to do to change it, and she became. It implies that she evolved into something higher. She's not like quite dead. She's just become something more metaphysical, I guess, like a force of nature.
Also, it was really cool when she took that one alien and like fried his eyes and stuff.
yeah. She fucked those guys up real good.
Yeah, I was like, what did they turned into a horror movie somehow? I'm like, all right, I'll take it.
Yeah, the X-Men didn't hold back on those Dabari.
No, they really fucked them up. But there's some really great like scenes in that whole fight in the train was pretty cool, and it was a different way to do a fight sequence like that because we've seen so many big old fight sequences in these movies.
And it was really good teamwork too.
Yeah. It was seeing them work as a. That's what I want to just see the X-Men work as a team. Just have them be a team for a whole movie.
Like in X-Men '97.
Yes.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
That's also that
most we've gotten.
That has the benefit of being 10 hours. Well, I guess with half an hour's, mostly half an hour episodes, having like 6 hours of content to go through the whole story.
Yeah.
The opening two-parter is still better than any of these fucking movies. So
no, I 100% agree.
You're right.
Yeah, 100%.
They should have just made that a movie. But
it's funny too because I think they have more freedom with the animated side of things because people watching them are either disinterested kids or people that are really into it. You really want to be into X-Men to watch that. So like, it's weird, like, because the animated world I think it's more freedom to do what they want to do because it's really like the core fans that are watching it. With these movies, they have to try to appeal to other people that don't necessarily care about the X-Men that want to go watch good movies. So like, it's weird. They try to appease everyone and then make nobody happy. So.
It's stupid. It's bad
decision
making.
But
Sorry, Ryan.
Each of us will have to look into his own heart and decide.
Go ahead, and then we'll look into our hearts.
Oh no! What I was gonna say is that the only benefit I think of these movies ending up being as shitty as they are is that it helped Fox fall, and then
it did.
You know what I mean? Because now. And yeah, it's taken a little while, but now like we're actually gonna start seeing these show up in like the MCU, so we're actually gonna see some interactions with other superheroes that isn't just X-Men.
It's like Deadpool came out, and you're like, "Damn you, Ryan Reynolds! Let Fox die!" Like,
yeah, right.
He wasn't enough to save it, but
he wasn't.
But in a cool way, we're gonna like what I think this movie is going to be like the Deadpool Wolverine movie is going to be a ton of fun. I'm very excited for it.
Oh yeah, I'm excited.
It looks like all the trailers I've seen looks like a blast. Well, unfortunately, we're talking about it next week, so I have to try to figure out. Like, I'm going away in the weekend. I have to really try to figure out somewhere to see it. I think I only have maybe a window on Sunday night, maybe, because I won't have time Monday. I don't think I can go. I'm hosting a vinyl night at a bar here on Thursday. Friday, we're heading for a vacation, so we'll be gone until Sunday. So I think Sunday night might be the only chance. I'd like to try to squeeze it in Thursday afternoon if I can, but I don't know what's going to happen.
Get her into you.
I'm trying. I really want to see it.
Yeah.
Anyway, you guys talk about your moments. Too. I need a bio break. I'll be right back.
A what? Anyway, is that how he says he's going to the bathroom? I'm taking a bio break? Yeah, the kids today.
I like it.
Yeah. Well, let's bring it up. Here we go. Let's check our previous rating, shall we, from the last Phoenix movie.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask you if you got it in there.
I gave it a 5, Andre gave it a 4, and you gave it a 4. Wow, I was actually the most positive on that one. I'm not going to be the most positive on this one. I think this one was... See, my problem is... See, the counter-argument to your argument, which was it helped Fox fall, and that's probably the positive. The negative is... It worries me that somebody saw this movie, and that was the first exposure they ever had to X-Men. Some young kid... and they think this is what the X-Men is. And I've lamented that a few times about all of these Fox movies. I'm like, what if people think that's what the X-Men are? Because a lot of people do. A lot of people think the X-Men are Black Leather and Hugh Jackman, and that's what the X-Men are. But that's why it was so good that I love Wolverine and Cal Dodd, of course, but that they had Wolverine take a back seat in X-Men 97. That was important.
Well, so like as bad as The Last Stand was, right? And obviously we went over it in great length last time I was on. But like watching this movie, I'm like, man, give me Vinnie Jones saying I'm the Juggernaut, bitch, because
give me something fun.
Well, that's it, right? So at least that movie, as bad as it was, like it made me laugh on a pretty regular basis and on purpose too.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
You know, it's like, I didn't like Gene, I didn't like half the stuff, but like I like what they did with some of the other casts. Like I think that, if I remember right, like that battle at like the prison, on the island was actually pretty solid. And Magneto moves the entire bridge over, and like all these mutants come down. Like that was badass. Yeah,
that movie makes you laugh on purpose with "I'm the Juggernaut, bitch." This movie makes you laugh by making a crippled guy walk upstairs in pain.
Yeah, exactly. Like that's a problem.
That's a problem for sure. So. I mean, I'll go first. This one's definitely getting a worse one than Last Stand. You gave Last Stand a 5, Andre. We just a 4. I was actually the highest on Last Stand. You gave it a 4, and Ryan gave it a 4, and I gave it a 5. This one,
the X-Men Wolverine was 2. Is that what I gave it?
I gave Apocalypse a 1.
I gave it a 5.
This one is, I think, worse.
Did I give it a 5? I guess I did. Shit. All right.
You were.
Yeah, actually, there were moments.
Speaking some praises on that one.
Well, it had moments, and like this one, it has moments. 5's kind of like middle of the road. Like it's not. There's nothing incredibly offensive, but there's nothing. You know what I mean? Like it's not incredibly amazing, but it's also not. I'd say this is a 5 for me again.
I'm giving this one a 0. Actually, there is nothing here for me. Like if I gave Apocalypse a 1, I think this one's worse. I'm giving this one a straight up 0. Andre, what are you giving this one?
5.
This one is the worst one of all the X-Men movies. It's just, it has nothing. It doesn't have that humor on purpose.
Seeing the X-Men get to be a team and all that stuff at the beginning, and some of like the big fight sequence at the end, like those are redeemable enough to make it like not an absolute dumpster fire. Nothing is. It's a deeper conversation to say what constitutes a bad movie, right? Like
this does.
Sure, but there's a lot of that is personal opinion. I know a friend of mine once said, if a movie is in focus, you could hear it, and like you just all the technical stuff.
Then I'll give it a 1 for that fight scene.
Yeah, there. Fair enough. I'm not upset if you give it a 0, dude. It's fine.
I mean that
there are aspects of this I liked enough, probably about the same amount as I liked for the X-Men Apocalypse, that I'd say 5's fine.
I like this line.
By the way, the women are always saving the men around here. You might want to think about changing the name to X-Women.
So it would have been better from anybody but Mystique.
I kind of groaned at that line because it just seems like it's such a... I don't know.
It was a pandering line.
It's like a
pandering line.
Yeah, it's like low-hanging fruit. Like, it's like the lowest hanging fruit you
But
can
I'll
grab.
take it.
Yeah,
I'll take it in this movie.
All right.
Yeah. All right. Right.
And I gave Last Stand a 5.
4.
4. Okay. This was not better than that, so I'm gonna give this a 4 too. And with the couple of points that I'll give it is because I kind of talked because I was gonna go 3, but man, like I'm just thinking of like that train scene again. I really like that scene.
It's cool. It was cool. Like I remember watching going, yeah, this fight scene was actually pretty cool.
It was and you know what, like it's funny with these movies, specifically from First Class on, is I really love Fassbender, and that'd be the one thing I'm disappointed with him not being Magneto anymore, because I actually really enjoyed him in these movies.
Yeah. He's a good actor. I don't enjoy him as Magneto. I liked McKellen as Magneto.
Well, McKellen was just amazing though.
Yeah,
I think Daniel Craig would be a pretty cool Magneto. I would like to see that happen. He's getting a little long in the tooth now, but I think he would have been a cool one.
Yeah. No, Magneto should be old. That's fine.
Daniel Craig would be a great Magneto because
he'd be awesome.
I'd have to be convinced, but I'd be open to it. Yeah.
Oh, he's a fantastic actor. I think he'd be great in it.
Okay, he was good in. I saw him in a movie once with Liev Schreiber where they were playing It's like a World War II movie. They
Oh,
were playing,
Defiance
like,
or something?
Yeah,
Yeah. I never saw that one. I heard good things, though.
It's a good movie. I think I bought it on DVD for like $3 in one of those cheap bins or something.
I love me those the Glass Onion movies.
Oh, yeah.
I haven't seen those.
Oh, they're so good, man.
Yeah, they're really good, dude. You'd like them. They're really good mysteries, and they're really fun and funny.
It's because they're clever, but they're funny. I mean, like, you'll laugh your ass off. That's it.
Oh, yeah.
So we've got next week, we're going to bump New Mutants back a week. We're going to do Deadpool 3 next week. Then we'll have X-Men Dan in for New Mutants. And then that will pave the way for some New Mutants indeed, where we will start to review X-Men Evolution, I believe it looks like.
Oh, nice. Very nice. That's a good show.
So that's where
you
we'll
can
go
talk
next.
to Andre. Did you talk to Stephen Gordon?
Yeah, we'll have Steven told us he'd come back on and talk to us.
Yeah, I was saying because he'd be a great person to bring on for Evolution because
I had him on my show. Yes.
I called you. I couldn't remember the show I watched.
It's a great episode. Check it out.
It is a good episode.
No, I did. That's why I was like, I saw that episode.
Yeah, he has some Halifax connections.
Yeah, he's a really cool guy.
Yeah. He is. He's a great artist too. I got some work from him.
Oh yeah.
Well, it's like it was weird because there were movies that are like had big parts of my growing up that I remember watching and being enamored with. A lot of them were Ralph Bakshi ones that he worked on. Like American Pop is a movie I watched at an age that was probably too young for me to watch it, but it was such a good movie that I recognized how good it was then, even as a kid that didn't understand it for what it was. But to go back and rewatch it, which I'd love to do, but it's hard to find, would be very interesting. It's a very cool movie.
And we've got some different cast members there we can interview. We've got Bob Skier's Bible from that series in hand. We should probably talk about that.
That's cool.
So
that's a good show. Evolution was fun.
Yeah, I didn't watch it all the way through, and apparently it just got better and better.
Dude,
so
it got amazing. Like the last season is just incredible. Well, that's what it is because the first season's like it's full of Scooby episodes, right? Like it's all like 1 week, and then all of a sudden there's like season 2, like when it's like everything's more interconnected, and you're like, holy crap! Like they're building a hell of a universe here.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be a fun review series. There's lots we can do there. I got ideas. Yeah. What do you think, Andre? Evolution?
Sure. I still want to do Spider-Man. I'm just playing around doing Spider-Man.
We're gonna do Spider-Man. Look, I have a plan.
But I want.
I have a plan, and I think it'll work out perfectly.
I know your plan.
I think it's all in the timing. I think we'll be all right to wait a little bit on Spider-Man. X-Men is the zeitgeist right now. So yeah, looking forward to reviewing Evolution. Yeah, we've got some other things coming up too. Like I don't know if we're gonna. Anyway, we got to talk after the show, Andre. We've got some things to kind of figure out for the next few weeks here.
I know.
Do it anyway.
All right, I think we should do a comic again. It's been a while since we've done one of those ones. That'd be fun.
Oh yeah, it would be fun. We did God Love Man Kills.
Yeah, pick another seminal X-Men story and do that one. Let's do all of Age of Apocalypse. So I'll need a month to read it all.
Well, speaking of comics,
hey, check this out.
Oh God, I didn't have time to pick something. You go ahead first. I'll think about what I read recently.
All right. Well, hey, check this out. We got our comic reminiscences and recommendations segment. I had a couple things in mind that I was going to talk about and kind of review. Well, with the whole nod to the Jean Grey School, I was going to end these movies being basically Wolverine and the X-Men. Check out Jason Aaron's Wolverine in the X-Men, where Wolverine is the headmaster of the Jean Grey School.
This one had nothing to do with Wolverine. Not a damn thing.
Nope.
Not even a reference.
Nope.
First one not to.
But go check out Wolverine and the X-Men by Jason Aaron. That's a fun series. You get to see all the student body. And there's a lot of weird mutants, and some of them stick around and become cool X-Men. So check out Blob Herman.
All right, I'll piggyback on that and say go read the Spider-Man in the X-Men series when he was Spider-Man as a teacher at the X-Men school. That's a really fun series and had some of my favorite moments with Spider-Man X-Men type characters running around together. So
not to mention it has a Nick Bradshaw cover.
Yeah, Nick Bradshaw did the cover. It's a great series. I love Spider-Man just hanging out as a teacher teaching the kids at the mansion. It's really fun.
This one just happens to be autographed by Nick Bradshaw.
Oh, that's awesome.
Oh, Nick. I went with X-Men 700, or number 35 of the latest series. This is the end of Krakoa. After the last 4 or 5 years, the X-Men are no longer on the island. We're moving on because the new series is starting in the From the Ashes, and it seemed fitting, being another Phoenix movie.
Ah, good choice too.
And X-Men number 1 just came out, 2 weeks ago? Actually, Phoenix number 1 just came out last week, but my copy didn't come in yet, so I can't show you that one. So
Fair. Yeah. And, everybody, I said it last week, but, go check out the X-Men 97.
It was a really fun story.
Yeah, it is. Go check it out, everybody. All right. So, yeah, Spider-Man the X-Men's a good choice, too. You quote that issue all the time, Andre, with the, I don't want to cure cancer. I want to turn people into dinosaurs.
Still one of my favorite.
It is one of the best lines ever.
You can cure cancer. I don't want to cure cancer. I want to turn people into dinosaurs.
He's honest about his intentions.
Dave and Buster's up in Canada?
I'm familiar. I don't think we do. Maybe in a major city, but I don't think so.
All right, so it's if you don't know what it is, it's like an adult arcade, right? There's like a bar and like restaurant stuff, but you can go play arcades like you're a kid, but just get hammered doing it. But so what they did for Deadpool Wolverine is they put claw machines in all of them, and you can get Deadpool Wolverine merch. And I didn't go to Dave and Buster's, but I went to eBay. And check this out.
We have those.
What game did you have to play on eBay to win that?
Oh, on eBay. It just,
I'm kidding. Yeah,
they were cheap. Then there was pins.
Oh, that's slick.
And then there was a keychain.
Yeah. Oh, cool.
Oh, that's cool.
It was super cheap. I was just talking to my wife about this earlier. Man, like the merchandising and the promotion that they're doing for this movie is straight out of the 80s.
Oh yeah, like, that Wolverine popcorn bucket they made is pretty fucking hilarious.
Oh my god,
so good. Like you knew when they did that Dune one that they were gonna like, and he made such a big deal out of it that they were like gonna do something funny. So it's hilarious.
Oh, it's amazing. And then it's like in every movie theater has something different, and all of them are amazing.
Interesting. I'll have to check out the merch when I go on Saturday. Heading to that movie with X-Man Dan, so we'll probably talk about that during our New Mutants review as well.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Yeah. Well, what should we say here? Okay, here we go. Let's move on to...
You don't like the movie? Change the channel!
All right, I'm gonna give you a super old movie, very old, because I'm trying to think of what to watch. Actually, I did watch a movie that I dearly love again for another podcast I'm going to be on soon.
Metropolis.
That I'm not going to bother talking about because we'll save it for when I'm on Devin's other podcast. Hold up, but that one is I do love dearly. But I'm going to say go watch. It's a very old movie. It's called Carnival of Souls. It's black and white. It's a kind of an art house horror movie.
I think I've seen that.
It's very old. It predates Night of the Living Dead, and there are many aspects of it that I can see George Romero may have taken from it. But it's a sort of a story about a woman who's in a car accident, and then strange things start happening to her. But it's very early on horror, very creepy, atmospheric, stylish in a weird way for the time period. It's slow, but it's interesting, and it's worth checking out. I'd say... if you're a fan of like film history, it's definitely well worth seeing. Carnival of Souls.
I think I've seen it. I should go look that up, see if that is what I think.
It is on the criteria. It is due to its age, and I think it's copyright. It's royalty free, so like people can show it for free. So that's why it shows up on a lot of like movies channels and stuff, much like Night of the Living Dead. But Criterion also put it out on Blu-ray, and that's pretty interesting too. So check that out.
Is your remote taking us anywhere, Jabo?
So shit, I did have a movie I wanted to do for this.
All right.
So I was thinking I try to pick movies that match what you get two today. I try to pick movies that match the theme of what we're watching, like a movie or something, and kind of elucidate on that. So the movie I'm going to suggest is Toby Hooper's Life Force. It also has another connection to the X-Men because Patrick Stewart's in it when he's quite young. But it takes place. It's about a space vampire that inhabits the body of a woman, and she's naked and walks around London having sex and killing men by absorbing their energy. The idea of the space thing, and in the end, she turns into a giant like space bat-like monster, and they fight it. Toby Hooper, that most notably is the director of Texas Chainsaw Massacre and Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2, which I think most people don't talk about. That movie is fucking awesome.
Still good. Yep.
2 is fantastic. And I've been playing the Texas Chainsaw Massacre game a lot lately, so I've had it in my mind. But very cool movie, and about monster from space coming down and fucking people up, so it kind of applies to what's going on.
It's always a win.
It's always a win. Space
Where's
monster.
your remote taking us, Jabo? Anyway.
Yeah, Jabo, where we going? Take us away.
You know what? You know where I went yesterday is the first half of the last season of Cobra Kai dropped.
That was going to be my pick. Yeah. Solidarity, brother.
I'll say it's like a movie because I just sat down and watched all 5 episodes. So
Me too. Super late, like 2 a.m. I'm like, I'm doing it. Cobra Kai.
It's just so enjoyable. It brings
it is.
You know what it is? It's kind of adult Power Rangers, right?
Yeah. And it's so predictable, like you predict everything that's going to happen, and it just makes you happy anyway. You're like, yes!
That show is like pure unbridled nostalgia because it is not a good show. Like
it is a good show.
No, it is a good
show
because you enjoy watching it. But if you were to pick that apart as like an actual show, it is terrible. It is horrible.
They just keep doing the same thing season after season and find ways to like reignite the conflicts and stuff. And it's so ridiculous. It makes me so happy.
But it's reminiscent of those movies, but also like fucking any high school TV show we watched when we were kids, like Saved by the Bell or anything like that. Like it's
no, but it's like what you said, Ryan, about I'm the Juggernaut bitch. They did that on purpose. Like Cobra Kai knows what it is, whereas like most shows I try to watch are like that bad, but they don't think they're bad. And they're like, see that to me, that's offensive. Like Cobra Kai knows 100% what it's doing, and that's why it's so enjoyable.
It's Cobra Kai it's one of those shows that I'll just watch. And before, because I think it's like November, like the
November
or something. Like I'll absolutely go through and watch the whole show again because it's just
Johnny's just so funny.
Yeah, and he shouldn't be, right? Like it's just like there's no reason that show is enjoyable, but it really I don't even like the Karate Kid movies.
Me neither.
I love Cobra Kai.
I'm there with you, man. 100%. It
awesome.
Does something to people of our age group, I guess.
Yeah, it must.
Even if you don't like the Karate Kid movies.
I'm just finishing up watching Atlanta. When I'm done that, I'll be watching that next. So.
No, Atlanta's a good show.
I love it. It's so good. I'm almost done in the season 4.
I just couldn't get into it.
You're crazy. It's so good.
So I got to ask you guys, right? Did you guys watch The Bear, or have you watched The Bear?
Yeah, I just finished the new season.
All right, so I have like 2 episodes left in like the latest season, but like, how is that a comedy?
Yeah, it is. It's a dramedy, is what I call it.
Yeah,
it has comedic moments, but it's definitely not a core comedy for sure. Not.
Yeah, so it keeps winning like all these comedy awards, which is fine. Like it's a great show. Like it's super well done. The acting is incredible, but like the comedy is like specific little lines here or there. But like that show does not like make me laugh. It makes me cringe. It makes me want to like.
It fills you with anxiety.
Yeah.
It's like I was laughing about this, Davin. So I rewatched Colossal last night. That's the movie I was talking about for our hold up.
I have things to say.
Yeah, and I'm gonna shoot down every one of them if they're negative because that movie's fantastic. But during the Blu-ray, it says all over it like Anne Hathaway's hilarious. This is the great comedy, and I'm like, it's just to try to sell it that way so people will buy it thinking it's a comedy because comedy's easier to sell than what that movie is. But it's not. It's like I'm like, this is not a comedy. Any humor in it is very mild compared to like the more serious aspects of it. But it's funny because it's just marketing, I guess. Because comedies are easier to sell, right? Most people just want to laugh.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a fine movie. We'll talk about it. It's kind of like the things we've been saying. It's just like I think the things that are bad about Colossal, I don't think they realize are bad. Like there's certain things I don't think they did on purpose, or maybe they should have. But it's fine.
I'll save it for your podcast, but I'm sure I'm
Yeah,
going to
yeah.
disagree with everything you're saying.
Yeah,
That movie, I gave it 5 stars on Letterboxd. I love that movie.
it's just a bit predictable.
Predictable. Oh
it's-
my. Ooh, okay, never mind. We'll talk later. You're crazy.
Well,
You're insane. The one thing I've learned from listening to that show, as long as I have, it's that you can never predict what Davin's going to say, and usually it's manufactured outrage to make it more interesting for the podcast.
I would never do that.
Yes, you do, 100%. You pick such arbitrary things to make you hate a movie on that show. So many. I love. Somebody called you out on it one time, and I asked you about it, and you're like, "Oh well, no," and I'm like, "It's 100% right." It's like I hate. He's like, "It's just too stylish. This is too much style. I don't like it."
Anyway,
your movie is certainly not the fucking.
I haven't watched it yet.
Gangbusters.
I haven't watched it.
I
I've
haven't
never
watched
seen
all
it.
of it, but I'm familiar with it. You maybe should pick movies that you know are good instead of making
No,
us
it's
possibly
not.
watch.
No,
bad
that's not the point of this podcast.
Making me suffer through bad movies is.
Yes, I don't want to do a podcast where we just pick movies that we know are good. That's boring. Let's just watch movies we know are good.
I found the cup too.
Ooh, that's nice.
Ooh,
shiny.
I told you these are the best parts of the movies. Where the cups.
Except they should have just put the cartoon versions on the merch just to save the merch or something.
No, don't do that because I'll have to buy it all.
Yeah, fair enough.
I'm sure there's lots coming down the line you're going to be buying. So.
Yeah.
Right. Well,
that's the problem.
I could rant a bit more about this movie, so let's not. Let's just move on.
All I need now
I
is
forgot.
for you to contact your students, Professor.
I mean, it's kind of like we are doing Deadpool versus Wolverine next, which to me is like we're not giving the people a lot of time to see it. But I mean,
They don't have to watch our show right away.
That's fair enough. I didn't talk about all the fun facts about this movie, by the way, which we didn't get into.
Oh, are there actually fun facts for this movie?
There's interesting facts.
All right, fire them away.
There's supposed to be a lot more X-Men in it, but the studio cut a bunch of that back because of not having too many characters. I mean, I don't know what they would have done if they didn't do anything with the characters they had anyway. The plan was, to carry on beyond this, focusing on the younger stars. So we would have got like movies where Dazzler would have joined the team and been more forward, and some of those other characters we only briefly saw.
I would love to see Longshot and Dazzler, like proper Longshot and Dazzler.
The plan was originally to have like a crossover with New Mutants as well, and to do that with this, and kind
like
of
this movie,
like the New Mutants movie. The New Mutants movie would cross over with these younger X-Men team that we'd have going forward.
They would outshine them so bad though. Like the cast of the New Mutants movie wasn't actually bad like this.
It was, Isn't Theo James in that movie? He's Bastion
in New Mutants.
Yeah, maybe I'm getting confused with someone else.
There's no Bastion in that movie.
No, he did the voice of Bastion on X-Men 97.
Yeah.
Yeah. But isn't Theo James in New Mutants?
I don't know. I don't.
Oh, maybe I'm getting confused with somebody else. Yeah, right. Mystique and Magneto were not originally supposed to be in this movie because I mentioned earlier, Jennifer Lawrence said she didn't want to come back. I'm not sure why they put Magneto in. I guess they shoehorned him in to get him in there.
Why did they force Mystique in the movie then? They could have been free and clear of that whole horrible choice they made.
They're super popular.
Ty Sheridan admitted before the film's release he wore a muscle suit under his so he didn't work out for the role under his costume. I mean, why not? Who cares? He's not like he's shirtless at any point in the movie. Apparently,
like
Phoenix was
Cyclops
supposed to
for any point in the movie.
Phoenix was supposed to be more fiery looking in the film, but then they didn't want it to look too similar to Captain Marvel because her powers look kind of fiery when she's using them, so they had to revamp some of the effects on this.
God, what a stupid the reasons they make decisions at studios.
Oh yeah, no, it's dumb. There's one I listened to one where they were going to make like a cool. They're going to remake the Mummy. Like Clive Barker is going to make a Mummy movie, and then the studio's like, oh no, we put out a zombie movie this year, and we can't have two like slow moving monster movies in 1 year. Like that was their reason. I know it's so arbitrary.
People definitely don't watch more than one movie a year.
Well, not ones with slow moving monsters in them. It's like, oh, well, I saw a zombie movie earlier. I can't watch a Mummy movie. I can't have two in 1 year.
Tell people that in October.
Brian Singer was supposed to produce it, but due to the sexual assault allegations, they removed his name from the credits.
Gave it all to Kinberg.
Olivia Munn was supposed to come back as Psylocke in this movie, but she was doing The Predator instead.
To do what?
The Predator, the movie The Predator?
No, I mean, like, what would they have Psylocke do in this movie?
Yeah, I know. Apparently, the studio went through a lot of people and trying to figure out who to cast for the alien. McAvoy had recommended Chastain because they've worked together in the past. And Chastain, in turn, recommended him for the adult Bill character in It Chapter 2. So they kind of like, they worked together on that one as well.
The old Backy Scratchy.
Scratchy Backy. A cameo for Jackman was considered, but scrapped due to a combination of reasons. Kinberg had thought that the age gap between Jackman and Turner would make any of those sort of sexual tension moments creepy because there's such an age difference between those two characters.
That is a creepy thing about those two characters, though. Like that would have been
that is
legit
true. But
to
when she looks like an adult, woman, it's less weird. So apparently, he had Kinberg had cut a bunch of the original storyline to focus on kind of putting an ending to the First Class story, which is, I guess, what the studio wanted. They included elements of the Hellfire Club, and the Sierra would have been in this, but all that was kind of wiped. It's supposed to be 2 films turned into one. Alexandra Shipp, who played Storm, was very critical in the media about how little her character had to do in this film.
She didn't add anything to this movie.
No, but she wanted to be a bigger part of it and was upset that she wasn't.
Sure she did, but she did not play Storm very well in Apocalypse either, where they actually gave her things to do.
Not a lot. She just was one of the 4 horsemen. So this movie lost $133 million, making it the largest bomb of 2019. Box office bomb.
Nice.
A
I
young
didn't
rogue,
go, and I'm their target audience. So what does that tell you?
a young rogue was intended to be in the film as well, but they took her out as well. There's
a rogue cut. There's a rogue cut for this one too.
I don't think they filmed it. It was just intended at some point.
Oh, let's see the rogue cut. Makes it all better. They add in X-Men Evolution's Goth Rogue, and it takes this movie to the next level.
Apparently, during the reshoot of this movie, Kinberg changed the villains. Originally, they were supposed to be Skrulls, and turned them into the Dabari. Skrulls would kind of make sense. They change form, right, and match other people.
Yeah, it's just connecting them to the Phoenix would take a bit of work, I guess.
Around the same time, Rami Malek spoke pretty critically of working with Bryan Singer on Bohemian Rhapsody. Sophie Turner also added that working with him was unpleasant. So there's a lot of things about that. Wow. The girl that played Jubilee was unable to come back. She's working on Alita Battle Angel. There's a few. Sophie Turner studied mental illness and prepping for playing this role. There's a lot of that sort of stuff, but I mean, most of the big stuff we got out of the way.
All right.
But the crossover would have been interesting.
Yeah, I guess. I would have been okay seeing more of that New Mutants cast.
Yeah, well, when they announced Jessica Chastain was a cast, they everyone thought she was going to be Lilandra. Like that was the biggest one.
Yeah, I did. But,
yeah, I think we all did.
Yeah. Rather than some Dabari named Vuk.
The working, you know how like movies have working titles before they keep it under wraps for what they're filming. This one was called Teen Spirit.
Oh, goody!
Definitely
smelled.
Original. So the first live action appearance of Dazzler is this movie. Bo Derek was set to play her in a film on the character back in the 1980s. Apparently, which never happened.
Bo Derek was too old for that role in the 80s.
Apparently, Bryan Singer wanted to have her in The Last Stand and have Sigourney Weaver play her.
Sigourney Weaver played Dazzler
in The Last Stand, like back in 2000.
That's weird.
7 or 8.
Weird. Sigourney Weaver's something X-Men, sure, but not Dazzler.
Yeah, she'd be good as like a villain of some kind.
Sigourney would have played a cool Jean, like in her younger days, really. But, or even like, Sigourney Weaver could play Emma. You know, whatever.
Actually, one thing we didn't talk about in this movie, which is interesting, is the music. The music's pretty good in this.
Is it?
I thought so.
Not that Dazzler scene.
Well, no, I meant like the score, Gavin. Like the score, the music.
I didn't notice it, so it was just sort of a bit too backgroundy for me, I guess.
Yeah,
I didn't really pick up on it.
The thing that all these movies missed was not using the animated theme at all.
Yeah.
It was just dumb.
Yeah. They had the rights to it, so there's no reason not to.
Yeah,
they were too cool for school. That was the crime of all these X-Men movies. They thought these people that knew nothing about X-Men thought they knew better. They're like, here's what would make X-Men actually good. It's just like, no, X-Men's actually good. You're ruining what's good. Like, yeah, too cool for school, man.
You know what movie beat this in the U.S. box office in the top spot?
Flubber 5.
I don't think there's ever a Flubber 2, so no. The Secret Life of Pets 2.
Nice.
In which Louis C.K. was replaced by Patton Oswalt, I think.
Oh, I thought that's what you were calling this episode of our podcast.
It could be. There were a lot of pet action in this one.
That's true. There's a lot of animal shit going on.
They weren't being very secretive, though. Yeah, right. Well,
maybe that's the problem. They were talking to each other.
You can support the show at patreon.com/X-Men Review Show. Get your sweet merch at redbubble.com/people/X-Men Review Show/shop. You can. Where's your shirt, Andre? Where's your custom X-rated T-shirt?
I have 3 of them. I'm not wearing them, but I have them.
Model them for the people.
You're not even wearing one.
No, I get this one.
And are we making money off that one, Davin?
Well, X-Men 97 is our jam.
It is a great shirt.
Contact us at xmenviewshow@gmail.com. Follow us on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch. Is Twitch still a thing? I don't know.
I think it
Find our audio-only version wherever you get your podcasts. Please like, review, subscribe. Tell us what you like, what you don't, but mostly what you like. And we are, of course, a proud member of the United Federation of Podcasts. Any final words? Thanks for regaling us with your tales of X-Men weekending in con stuff there.
Awesome. Did you guys see one of the Hallmark ornaments for this year?
No,
I always check out the Trek ones. Ooh. Oh, what? They made a Wolverine one.
Yeah, 97 Wolverine.
Oh, it's the 97 Wolverine. Shit. Yeah, do they do any other 97 ones or just Wolverine?
Just Wolverine. But there's also, they're doing there's a San Diego exclusive that they're going to have. That is that one, but it's unmasked.
Oh. Surprised they didn't do Gambit with all the hubbub.
God, I know. I wouldn't be surprised if it shows up. I think, so from what I've heard from various, like that kind of source, is that they were so unprepared for the X-Men, which is weird because we just assumed that we knew it was gonna be huge, but they didn't expect the toys to sell the way they were. They didn't expect people to be buying into the stuff the way they are. So
those toys are pricey now. They're going up in price.
Oh yeah, well, and that's why. And Hasbro's I think they're gonna re-release the entire first wave, do a reissue because they had no clue. Like they knew it was gonna be big. Like everybody in Hasbro told them, listen, this is gonna be big. And they're like, no, we're only making this many, blah blah blah. And sure enough, the entire first wave sold out before it even hit the shelves. So we're gonna see it again. But they said come next year, there's a lot coming. Even before season 2, because all the major characters. Think about who we didn't get toys of, right, from the first season.
Did we get a Forge toy?
I think we're getting Forge. I think we're gonna get we'll get a new Cable. We're gonna get Bastion. We're gonna get Sunspot.
They didn't make a Bastion toy?
No, they made
I guess they had to keep it secret as to who he was. Yeah, I guess.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. I think we'll get Sunspot. I honestly I think you're gonna see some variations too. We're gonna get Crop Top Remy.
Skinny Mojo.
Yeah, wait for Ozempic Mojo.
If the Mojo's skinny and you can press a button, it's like a balloon and it flops.
That would be amazing. That would be. I would buy that toy, and I don't even collect action.
I think the concept of Mojo getting his like sustenance from his popularity was a genius idea.
Yeah.
He's just all skinny because.
Although I always assumed it was cocaine.
I would like to trademark Ozempic Mojo hashtag, and that would be I want that credit. I want that credit to me henceforth going forwards.
Henceforth, it shall be known
in perpetuity.
In perpetuity, yes, indeed. All right, well, let's get out of here, fellas. Any final thoughts?
Go read some comments.
What?
So I just gave you my final thoughts.
Oh, true enough.
More final thoughts.
More finality to it. That was too open-ended. It was hopeful.
We don't deal with hope here.
No. I tried to in the start of the show, and that didn't go well. All right, let's get out of here.
I hope for you, man. You have enough hope for all of us. I hope Davin's happy in the future. I just don't want him to crash and burn if he's not. That's all. It's really about your mental health, Davin. I'm worried about that the most.
I'm worried about what another tall Wolverine will do to you.
Yeah, what he does. Wouldn't it be great if he was freakishly tall? He's like 6'9". Like he's just like it's like we got a 6'8" Wolverine coming for. It's the guy from like
they hired Dave Bautista or some shit.
It's the guy from the Reacher TV show. He's like 6'7" or 6'6" or something. Like they get him. And he'd be a good Sabretooth actually, but then you're like. Davin's mind just collapses in upon itself. I can't handle it. They find Davin swinging from a rafter somewhere with a note pinned to his chest. It just says, "Tall Wolverine made me do
it." All height and no claws makes no enemy. All right, let's get out of here. Catch you next time.
Next time.
Just come back to me. Remember, you said you'd always come back to me. Come back to me.
Come back to me. Come back. Come back.